tired of the GOAT talk. Who's the GOAT? Everybody's a GOAT nowadays. I know there's separations of the generations. We need to put away the GOAT talk. Some of these people that you're trying to enter into the GOAT cup deserve to be in the GOAT conversation. It's certain people that shouldn't even be mentioned alongside some of the greatest to ever do it or the best to ever play. So I don't want to hear that GOAT talk. Keep that GOAT talk from around me. I'm a hard fan. I love to debate sports. I love to talk sports. I love. I'll watch any sport pretty much. But I'm tired of all of the GOAT talk. All of that GOAT talk. It just I'm looking for my man Trey. He's somewhere out there. But yeah, Trey.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
To that GOAT. That GOAT conversation needs to be over with. I would say this though, on the topic of the GOAT talk, however, when you're talking basketball, if think was GOAT, okay, but give it your best. Everybody talks about Michael Jordan being the GOAT.
Can you hear me, Cornelius?
But I don't see him as the GOAT.
What we talking about?
GOAT.
Mike.
I mean, I see
Michael Jordan
as the GOAT. I'm the GOAT talk. He's not a GOAT. I don't think he's a GOAT because one, it's not about championships to me, people. It's about performance overall, and you know, LeBron is only down here and there as whatever. Like he doesn't have as many scoring titles. He doesn't have as many defensive first teams or you know NBA teams and things like that to support enough of the GOAT. I mean, he's the best in his era. Trey, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
But yeah, I don't think that he's really. I don't think LeBron. He's played a long time. He'll have these statistic possibly make him the GOAT. As far as what do you do, and the struggle that Michael Jordan went through also is what separates. You know, Jordan was 8 years deep before he won. You can say that LeBron played against these Hall of Famers, but nowadays, what's Hall of Famers worth? All these guys are Hall of Famers. Jordan played against his share of Hall of Famers. He got his butt kicked, actually, against quite a few Hall of Famers. But it was about building that team, growing and understanding and becoming that monster, man, and playing that game and doing that thing. I mean, that's what it was about. It wasn't about all these accolades and surpassing all of these records. I mean, records were meant to be broken. Jordan himself. I just think that we should put an end to that talk. Now, I said she was the go to tennis. That's hands down. That's undisputed. There's always going to be some disputes in other sports, but it's like Tom Brady. He's the and anybody that gotta have great arguments. England, they cheat or he cheated. Is Deflategate. How serious was that when they ran the ball all over Indianapolis in that game anyway? They didn't even, you know, Tom Brady didn't have like super numbers to support that. He ran all over them. I mean, that's what it was about. It was about that running game. What was his name? Blunt, or whatever those dudes. Blunt had a record, an individual record-setting day that day. Remembers the Deflategate, but everybody wants to talk about the deflation of some footballs. Man, That's not what makes Tom Brady the GOAT. What makes Tom Brady the GOAT is he can step in any locker room, and I guarantee you, he can take that team. If not to the Super Bowl, he can get a team in a conference championship game in a heartbeat. Those are the keys to me. LeBron has always, like, if you go back to basketball, LeBron has always needed help. He always needs somebody to help him out. Like, why does he need people to help him out? Because he can't do it on his own. Now, nobody has ever. Jordan didn't do it on his own. Jordan had Pippen. Jordan, and in the second three-peat, let me see LeBron have any team do a three-peat. First of all, LeBron doesn't stay on the team long enough to accomplish a three-peat. How about that? And, remember the whole Heatles? They were saying, oh, they were going to win so many championships. How many championships did they win? Like 2 out of 4 or something? I mean, then you lost to an aging team. I mean, got beat pretty bad, really bad against Antonio team. Remember them carrying LeBron off the court? It wasn't like Jordan double nickel or anything, or getting carried off the court, or a flu game or whatever, getting carried off the court. It was old, cramped up, pretending that he was playing defense out there when that ball was whipping around. It was like, come on, man. And let's just face it. I'll go on record as saying that my show, my rules. So the way I look at it is the Heat didn't really live up to that potential. Not only that, it seemed like Popovich felt generous and gave them the championship like the year before or something. Like, taking his starters out or taking his players out in a game clinching game where he could have finished them off. 1 or 2 rebounds by Tim Duncan and the game's over. That tip out, that grab, that rebound by Chris Bosh never happens if Duncan is in the game. Period. Hands down. It's like, that's where it is with me, people. And also, when you talk football, when you talk golden football, like, who can measure up to Tom Brady? It's just not the Super Bowls. It's the AFC Championship games. It's the host of playing with. I mean, I dare you, outside of Randy Moss, Ocho Cinco didn't really touch the field for them when he was there. But, name some good wide receivers that Tom Brady had. I mean, for real, name some, great wide receivers that he's had. He hasn't had the luxury of great wide receivers. He's had Gronk, a tight end. The other guy, Hernandez, was on his way to being something, but we know what happened there. But these guys, everywhere you look, they're talking who's the GOAT of what, who's the GOAT of what. I'll also go on record as saying that, as far as baseball goes, that could be disputed as to who's the GOAT. Like, people still heralding Hank Aaron, people still heralding Babe Ruth. But the way I look at it is that even with the juice, for my money, Barry was the best baseball player as far as batting wise. If you want to go there, batting wise, going towards the end of his career, he wasn't much as a defensive player, but he played great. But I like the Ken Griffey Juniors. It's so many people to talk about, but nobody talks about baseball GOATs. Nobody, it's not as a huge dispute as the NBA. And while I'm on the subject of the NBA, while I'm still waiting for Trey, while I'm on the subject of the NBA, I'm sick of hearing about Kevin Durant and his legacy, or what he's going to do. Is he a Brooklyn net? Is he not a Brooklyn net? It doesn't to me where he ends up playing, because we know that he couldn't carry a team. Now, the one thing that I give LeBron is LeBron can carry a team. We know that KD can't team. That's why he wants out. No doubt that's why he wants out. He wants freedom. He wants freedom. He wants, and I don't blame Kevin Durant. I would never knock him for that. I would never knock him for that. However, I just don't think I don't think he's good enough. So people, let me know what you think. Let me know on what's going on. Really, really crazy when you all of these different sports and all these elements, but really, what me when we talking. So the reason why I want to put it in the GOAT talk is because it's too many ways to look at it. It's too many ways to too many battle things, and there's too many ways. I really think, I personally think that to end all on GOAT talk, put people aside. You would have to, get all of the statistics aside and pure performance. Think about pure impact. Think about standings. Game. So people have to know what you think. As I continue to work out the kinks. Yeah, sorry about last week, by the way. Yeah, that was a poor show. Hopefully this week we'll have a better show. I'm still, Trey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. I can see you now. There you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you pretty good.
There you are. I can see you. There we go. I was in talk like, uh, and I was saying that you don't hear about it much. Okay, into the GOAT talk. So like, uh, talk. So hey,
I, so my opinion of it is, everyone wants to say that they have been a part of an era or have been a part of a time in which they saw these individuals play. So, of course, our era was the Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan era in which that we got to end on the back end of Kobe Bryant, and then we've seen Kobe Bryant's whole career. And then we ended up, and now we're seeing the end of LeBron's career. So for the most part, all that has been played out in, saying we've seen that from start to finish, just about. So the people that are coming up now, the younger age, the millennials as they call them, they're seeing LeBron, saying from a child being raised, like they grew up with LeBron in the league. For those that love basketball, so it transcends. You're going to always have a situation to where someone is always going to be perceived as, okay, that was my goal. Um, Interestingly enough, we don't have a situation when you talking football. You don't have too many people that question if Tom Brady is the GOAT, for the most part. But in basketball, you hear the Kobe's, you hear the LeBrons, you hear the Michael Jordans. Of course, you hear maybe even Steph Curry is starting to enter the conversation. So I think it's just a transcendent thing, to which in state is, someone. There's always someone that dominates a certain era, and that gives them the coin the term the GOAT.
so what do you think of uh, um, uh, because cheated and early really was that big a deal in my mind. You
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Snook, but it sounds like you asked me who would
don't
be.
know.
Did you ask me who would be the GOAT of football?
You know,
So, as a
you had to.
conversation we was having
How about this? Be the
from
goat.
from the conversation we was having the other day in reference to that, it just so happened we was talking about that Tom Brady. So Tom Brady has won 7 NFL championships. He is top in a lot of the statistical categories in the NFL.
You in football.
So that's a hard one. Like currently, right now, I would say it's Brady just based on his ability to win. And he's done it. He went away from being with Bill Belichick, went to Arians, and he became a champion yet again. Not even a season after leaving there. So you got to sit up and think to yourself, like he has a lot to do with that. So currently, if I had to say there was a GOAT in football, currently I would give it to Tom Brady because it's no different from the Transcendents, but he's foreseen because because of his winning, because he's won 7 times, which him as a quarterback has won 7 rings as opposed to a team winning 7 rings itself. He's won more Super Bowls than most teams in the NFL have. So currently, I would think if there was a GOAT in football, he holds that distinction.
And um, as far as it's based, and you got kids.
When it comes to baseball, we start to I mean, I think baseball and football, the lines are a little bit differently blurred or differently seen. Um, because those are more there's a
Yeah,
more of an individual type accolade or when it comes to it.
um,
I think you've had more people have been skilled at the same time. Um, immense amount of skill, i.e., hence why we talk about LeBron,
King.
Kobe, um, Michael Jordan. Now Steph Curry starting to enter that conversation. Kevin Durant, because you're able, there's people that it come across. And baseball is a little bit different, in my opinion, as well as football because of the different positions. Um,
You never know; it can be a friend.
Uh, a little bit, switching it up a little bit. Coaches go. What do you think in the NFL is that Bill Bell money? I say. What do you think can give Bill Bell a run for his money? Right now, McVay is a front runner. Um, Possibly, um, Vrabel. I think Vrabel in Tennessee. I don't know if he'll win in Tennessee, but I know he will win at some point. I think it's just the tutelage of Belichick. And I also think my money has got to be. I think Bill Belichick is going to be hard to beat. So that's a little high standard. Tomlin, if he can win another two or three, then maybe he could enter that conversation. Um, but I don't know who else. Andy Reid. Andy Reid's time is almost over. Um, and I think that McVay being so young and what he's already done with the Rams, making two Super Bowl appearances, I think he's making a strong case that he'll be around for a while, making teams successful. What he was Stafford in 1 year is unbelievable. Uh, Look at them all separately. And I know the measuring stick, like I said, I know the bar is high. Like you can go pretty much any sport, managers in baseball, the bar is high to reach what some of the predecessors have done. And with Bill Belichick still in the league, I don't know if he's going to win anymore, but I hope he does. Hope he wins more games. I hope he stays. Uh, I hope he gets to the championship again. I should say with the New England Patriots without Tom Brady. Um, Else's thoughts are, but I think that that's a great. I think that that's a great vibe to see those guys playing the way they do. Uh, so I really think that the best players in the game and the best coaching game sometimes go hand in hand, and I think that sometimes you don't have to have, as a coach, you don't have to have always the best players, but basketball, Phil Jackson had the best players. Um, Bill Belichick never really had the best players in football. He just had that and followed through and executed the plan that he laid out. Also, I liked a couple of other, like a couple of other players that I've appreciated. There's been a few that I've appreciated. Um, like coaches from back in the days, like, Bill Walsh, he was a great coach. Um, he was one of the best. Tom Landry was another good coach. Um, I even liked Bill Cowher. Not really a huge Pittsburgh fan, but I like Bill Cowher. I like what he stood for. I like the Pittsburgh organization totally though. And I also think that when we talk coaches specifically, you got to get into the mindset of the coach sometimes, and sometimes the coach's ego can doing like if you take a great offensive coordinator, Norv Turner, he was a great coordinator, but as a head coach, not so much because trying to run his offense just didn't really him as as him at the helms of a team versus what he could do offensive coordinator wise. I think the same thing happened to Mike Singletary, where he was supposed to, I was thinking he was going to be a great coach, have a great defense. He took for the organization, but it wasn't as strong as I thought it would be. He had nothing offensively. It was nothing he could give offensively, and he eventually pretty much lost his mind or something and didn't get to play much. But and didn't get to coach. But the changes that happened so quickly, and build so it takes a lot, I think, and coaches have to put up with. I think we'll see it from the era now, where they can surely get a coach out of there. You saw that. You saw that with Brooklyn Nets bringing in Steve Nash and getting rid of the coach. I think his name was Atkins before that, and bringing in Steve Nash. It's crazy to me how things have transitioned and how people have moved along. But I think that the best coaches always have this impact where players will talk about them, like Dick Vermeil about him when he was into the Hall of Fame. Now he doesn't have as many rings as some of the other guys, or but a solid coach. And it's like Andy Reid finally. It's like Andy Reid finally getting a Super Bowl win. And that's a good question. Do coaches have fans? I'm sure you're a fan. I was a fan of Phil Jackson in basketball, definitely. Like he brought teams together with dynamic personalities. I think the same thing about Belichick. Like I said, to be able to get everybody to perform their job at the highest level is one of the most difficult things. I'm also, I was a fan of former Yankees manager Joe Girardi. I think going from a player to coaching is not an easy transition. We've seen that. We see it throughout sports. Like I was talking about Mike Singletary, you would think as great as he was, Hall of Fame linebacker, you would think that would have transcended to the field. But yeah, I think coaches do have fans. No doubt they have fans. I know I'm a fan. I'm also a Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin I think he's excellent. I think he's keeping the team, his always having to plug and play. You know, all the injuries to Roethlisberger over the years, losing key players because they, losing key players because they refuse to give into the free agency. Um, I was asking you, Trey, who do you think's the hottest coach? Um, uh, hold on. Uh, uh, let me add. There we go. Let me add you back to the picture. Um,
Okay, so what you say? What was the question, Snook? I heard you ask a question. What was the question that you asked?
oh, okay. The question was in the
So when it comes to coaches, as I think the nicest coach right now, you can say like we all talk about Belichick and everything like that being, but they've had losing seasons. He didn't do too good when he got Cam in his system. When he lost Brady, he kind of got better when he with Mac Jones last year. But someone for over 15 years who has never had a losing record is none other than Mike Tomlin. So I think you have to give the credit to where the credit needs to be. Mike Tomlin. Um, you start to add in other coaches, kind of say here and there that's been productive. But Mike Tomlin, over the course of 15 years, has not had a losing season. He's won what one or two Super Bowls in that time frame. Uh, so I think that's where we look at coaches. I know we dub Belichick the GOAT in coaching because of his 7 Super Bowls. But Mike Tomlin isn't shabby himself, and he's been making it work for the most part with a various amount of different players that haven't just been Tom Brady consistently. Um, so my vote goes to Mike Tomlin.
um, switching it up, talking up a little bit about the games as far as I want to start with my squad, the sorry Cowboys, man, and I'm calling them sorry because of all those penalties. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's go. Let's start. Let's start with your heart. You know, the die-hard fan. Let's start with your heart. So, what's going on with the Cowboys? Did you watch what like? Did you see anything that you did or didn't like in that game? So I think Cornelius is just having a little bit of technical difficulty at this point, but I think he was going to the point in which he was bringing up. This is the diehard fan. So to take that into consideration, one of his team is the Dallas Cowboys. For whatever reason, everyone has a little bit of disdain towards the Dallas Cowboys. Why that is, I'm not sure. Um, I know me as a 49er fan, if we was talking about diehard fans, me being a 49er fan for many years, for the last 80, whew, I go back as far as since a fan for the 49ers since 86. So of course being in the same conference, the NFC, um, there's been battles. So when we talk about the Cowboys, uh, I don't think I didn't get a chance to catch their game. However, we did see some of the highlights. We did, but some of the things in which I think about, not even looking at the game, is the conversation of the Zeke Elliott versus Pollard conversation, to where Pollard seems to be pushing Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott is supposed to be their bell cow back. Of course, and speaking in reference to the situation in the wide receiver room, well, now CeeDee Lamb has the ability to be the number one receiver. Although conversations have been that Michael Gallup was going to be the number one receiver at some point, because the affinity for Dak Prescott to produce to throw to Michael Gallup. But of course, Michael Gallup's been out due to his injury from last year, and so there's been a report that's been building with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, to where even this morning I read about right now, Maurice Jones-Drew writes for ESPN, or correction, not ESPN, NFL.com, and he basically stated that he believed right now that Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are number 7 in the top 10 QB to pass catcher at this point. So that speaks to, in my opinion, that speaks to the fact of the Dallas Cowboys are starting to build, and they're starting to be a rapport built with Dak Prescott as well as CeeDee Lamb, to where now you might have problems. Gallup comes back into the picture. There's going to be issues. Of course, they lost Cedric Wilson. That was a hard hit. But you have a position to where maybe Dallas is or does have what it takes and able to be for it to be able to move forward. With that being said, the Cowboys might not be that bad. Of course, they're looking. I know they have a game coming up this week. If you've been looking at the NFL slate, week 3 of the preseason is slated to be basically a five games, like football all week starting tomorrow. You got a game tomorrow. You got games on Friday, games on Saturday, Sunday, and even our first Monday night football game on the 22nd, to where you get to watch football. If you're a fanatic, you get to watch football all week starting tomorrow on into the beginning of next week. A little brief reset, and then of course the last week of the season starts, where you get an opportunity to take a look at the last of players being able to play. We get down to the last week. Of course, next week players got to be cut from 85 to 80. From the week after that, got to go from 80 to 53. And you start to see where people start getting weeded out. Some of your favorite players that you thought was just going to be put on for your team, like you said, the diehard fan put on for your squad, they might be cut. They might be playing somewhere else. So it can be a little much, you know what I'm saying? But in any case, it's a business and it continues on. Like I said, for me as a diehard fan, San Francisco 49ers, I'm excited to see Trey Lance get into the swing of things. Debo is in the fray now that he's got his contract 3 years. So I'm excited and ready to see that. I'm ready to see from the last couple of years we've been a running back by committee, and so now with that being said, Elijah Mitchell, Eric Sermon, I'm not correct. I'm sorry, I'm on my hip hop set right now. Trey Sermon, from the as getting ready to enter into the fray. Hasty is coming back and getting an opportunity. So it's one of those situations where we've consistently gone through wide receiver, I'm a quarterback, and running backs, Breida, and a couple of others. So I'm ready to see what that defense can do. Ward was taken out a little bit ago. So now we're probably going to be without Jimmy Ward as he recovers from a slight injury from the preseason. But I'm excited as a 49er fan. You got to think we went through those dark seasons.
I'm just shut out. I
He
don't
should have
know.
access to be able to jump in.
um,